Hi, I'm John McCullough, Chief Marketing Officer of VFM Leonardo, and welcome to the VTV channel. Today we have Josiah Mackenzie with us. Josiah is a former software and advertising executive who uses his background to help hotels and travel businesses create great experiences driven by today's technologies. His blog, Hotel Marketing Strategies, has become the #1 provider of original hotel marketing advice, serving tens of thousands of hoteliers around the world on a monthly basis. Josiah, thank you for joining us on VTV and welcome.
Thank you, John. It's a pleasure to be here.
Josiah, our topic today is called Content Marketing, the Key to Staying Relevant in the New Web. Certainly, as we all know, marketers today are focusing a growing effort on improving their content, particularly online. Some will say, and many have, that content is actually the new advertising. You yourself have said that content marketing is the key to staying relevant online. First, can you tell us, in your opinion, what exactly is content marketing?
Sure, it's good to define content marketing from the outset, and I think it's really simple. It's all about putting information onto the web. And when you think about it, the internet and the web was really designed with the premise of providing information. It's a place where people go to do research. It's a place where people want to find answers. And so in my experience, the organizations and the websites that are providing these answers are the ones that are succeeding online. When you think about it, the world's #1 travel website wasn't designed initially to sell travel. It was about helping people plan their travel and connecting them, getting people to review the different establishments that they're engaging with. And of course, I'm talking about TripAdvisor. Has over 34 million monthly visitors, something like 35 million total reviews. And I think there's a lot that we can learn from this and apply some of the same strategies for our own web publishing. And I think a lot of the conversation that we'll be going over today is going to be very practical, very specific, with tactics that you can use immediately. It comes from my own experience of taking hotelmarketingstrategies.com to the top 2 results of Google, beyond 36 million other pages, and I've seen many other websites and organizations use the same thing. And so we're going to be very practical, very specific for you today, but this is a strategy that absolutely works. It's crucially important for any marketing online today.
So let me ask you, what is the secret to successful content marketing then?
It's all about thinking like a publisher, creating amazing content, and distributing it as widely as possible. This is really the way that you can succeed online today. And the beautiful thing about this is that it covers all elements of a digital marketing program. You're going to receive search optimization benefits. Over the past 10 years or so, search optimization has really evolved. And now the websites that are rewarded and going to the top of rankings are the ones that are publishing useful information. When someone types a search query into Google, that's an opportunity for you to reach out to them and connect with them. And I think there's some research done by HubSpot last year that said organizations that blog receive 97% more inbound links, and of course that moves you up in the search rankings, and they get 55% more web visitors. And imagine what you could do with 55% more website visitors. Imagine all the additional profits you would make. So you get search optimization benefits, you get social media marketing benefits. Instead of thinking about which platform or which network we should be using, whether it should be Facebook or Twitter or blogging, you should be thinking about what stories can we be sharing, what information can we be publishing. And so it covers social media, it covers service as well. This is an opportunity for you to serve your guests and provide them with very helpful, relevant information.
You know, it's interesting, Josiah, I hear a lot of times from hoteliers that a lot of their online strategies focus on the top end or driving traffic to their websites and very little about conversion. And as we all know, successful marketers focus on both driving people to their store, so to speak, and converting that traffic into people that pay something. It certainly sounds like a good content strategy could cover both of those strategies.
Absolutely. You need to design your content in a way that enables you to make more sales. And so it's all about engineering and putting together the right types of content that not only attract people to your website, but that assist you in making the sale. And so by that I mean we've found that a similar situation story is perhaps the most powerful selling technique available to us today. If you can get guests that can talk about their experience when they're visiting your hotel or visiting your destination, or if you're selling something else, if you get guests or customers to talk about what their experience was doing business with you, that's going to be a lot more credible than anything else. And so I think as you're planning your content strategy, there needs to be a sales strategy behind it. What information do we need to be publishing? What information do we need to be sharing that actually helps us close deals or close a sale or encourages someone to make a booking in the case of a hotel?
So discussing the hotel industry specifically, where can a hotel start with a content marketing strategy?
I think there needs to be a deep understanding of who their target audience is, and this requires extensive listening. It requires you to know where your brand position is, where do you stand among other hotels in your area, and once you have this, it helps guide the content. I think an example could help there. For example, in New York City, there's the Roger Smith Hotel, and they're really doing a lot to position themselves as a hub for artists, new media producers, and so everything they do is around this. They've created a separate website, therogersmithlife.com, where they're able to publish information on upcoming events, activities that people involved in new media would be interested in. And so if I was a movie producer or involved in that industry in some regard, I would probably find them through this channel, and then I would know that that's the hotel I would have to stay at in New York, because their whole content strategy is focused around people like me. And so it requires you to listen to your customers, listen to your guests, and think about what questions are they asking and what information can we publish that would answer those questions.
Certainly, all good marketing strategies start with defining who your target audience is. And I think you mentioned a couple of ways of better understanding that. But can you offer some simplistic advice or simple advice for where a hotelier could best understand who their target audience is?
It depends a little bit at the beginning when you're thinking it's in some regards sort of a branding endeavor or something that you need to do at a branding level. You need to think, where do we want to stand in the market? And then also, how do they perceive us already? You can't make a huge jump into a completely different category. You have to a little bit work with how people perceive you in the market, and then think, how can we work off of that to go where we're wanting to go? And so that plays a little bit of a role, I think, in deciding where you're going. And I think, again, just listening to your customers, who do your customers or your guests want you to become, and what do we have to do to become that?
Yeah, and it's amazing. It's quite interesting that oftentimes hoteliers can find that information through user-generated content that's already out on the web.
Yeah, absolutely. You need to be listening. I think that's part of listening. You're talking directly to guests, but listening also involves a lot of monitoring what's going on online already. So do some Twitter searches, see what kind of photographs or video people are taking about your destination or your hotel or your establishment, and then see what the sentiment is around that, and then work from there.
Josiah, in your opinion, let's talk a little bit about return on investment, or ROI. Do you have any opinions on the ROI of a content program versus advertising, for example?
Right. There's a couple ways you can approach that. I think we need to understand that travel booking is not linear. People are going through dozens of web searches when they're planning their trip or they're deciding what hotel they want to stay at. And so they'll be consulting multiple sources. And so we have to understand a little bit that it's kind of difficult to have a straight line conversion path all the way through to the end booking or the end sale. But that said, I think the return on investment for content is also much higher because there's a longer shelf life. If you're running an advertising campaign and you drop $50,000 on the campaign, that's over within a day, a week, a few months, however long your campaign is, and then you're not receiving ongoing benefits. On the other hand, if you invested that $50,000 into producing amazing content, that actually increases in value over time. It starts getting picked up by search engines, you get more inbound links, so it can be a little tricky to track sometimes for a hard ROI, how much return did we make from this initiative. But in my experience, you're getting benefits, like I said at the beginning, from search, you're getting increased social media exposure, and it also is a great service opportunity for you.
Josiah, great insights on content marketing. Thank you very much for joining us today on VTV.
Thank you, John.
To all the viewers out there, be sure to post your comments on this episode of VTV and subscribe to our feed to receive more valuable insights from industry experts. If you would like to suggest topics that you would like us to cover in future episodes, feel free to email us at vtv@vfmleonardo.com with your suggestions.